I'm setting an example for my kids.
I got me a side hustle.
I have more control of my destiny.
I need multiple streams of income.
It's hard work, but I'm working for me.
A job is cool, but I need more.
It's all about being self-employed. You're tuned into the world of Self-Employed and Rising with Art Taylor, where we bring you the amazing stories of people who are challenging the odds and following their dreams of self-employment. Learn from their successes and be inspired. Hear creative ideas for your business and find tips to take your hustle to another level. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Self-Employed and Rising. I am Art Taylor, your host. And today's show will cover building empire from your businesses. And, you know, there are people who have this knack of taking one opportunity and expanding it into something else, or tying together opportunities that seem very disparate and building them together into something even more powerful. Well, our guest today is Darren Eakins, who is the founder and CEO of DeBlasi Whiskey, and he's also the co-founder and co-owner of the ABA basketball team, the Nassau Pride. And we're going to talk with him about his vision for his organization and how he goes about choosing partners and collaborators, and what's really important to him as he looks out into the years ahead, building his empire. Darren, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy to be on.
Well, Darren, you know, you are doing a lot. You're working as a professional. You have at least two businesses going that we know about.
Right.
You know, the first thing is, you know, where does all this energy come from? Where does this orientation that you have to being a business owner, where does that come from?
I think it's just my work ethic. Since I was younger, I've always had a knack to get things done. High motor, multitask at a very high level. So for me, it's kind of natural, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you have family that were business owners in your past? I mean, maybe your grandfather was a business owner, but
right. So I had a grandfather.
Yeah.
Yep. He owned some venues in downtown Cincinnati. But I mean, really, it's just a tribute to my parents. You know, my father was in the military. My mother she worked for the military as an accountant. So just kind of getting that discipline and that structure definitely kind of helped mold me into what I am today.
Well, you talk about discipline because someone once said that, I think it was Coach John Chaney, former Coach Chaney, now deceased, great man who was longtime coach of the Temple Owls. Mm-hmm. He said that discipline is the highest form of intelligence.
Yes.
And I couldn't agree more. When you talk about discipline, what does that mean in your parlance? I mean, you have parents who were in the military where we tend to learn discipline, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, for me, it means a lot. So it could be, taking directives, but it also could be, accomplishing a goal, going through the ups and downs of accomplishing a goal and what that looks like. Also just talking through, to get through a problem or an obstacle. All that kind of goes with, discipline and to see it through and, to finish strong, no matter what the outcome, just to finish, stay positive. So all those things, especially in the business side, having that discipline quality is vital for me, I would say.
Now, you also have a background in a profession, engineering. You're a construction engineer, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Engineering certainly has this discipline too, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's a very precise field. So, you want to stay disciplined because, you can get things can get a little hairy, can get a little dicey, I would say. But if you stay disciplined, you can get to the meat, I would say. And just staying factual. You want to stay vital and stay critical with everything we're doing in engineering, because we have a lot of lives that are in our hands. So just being able to stay disciplined.
You certainly do, because I used to tell my son, who is an aeronautical engineer, I'd say, he said, I got a 90 on my test. I'd say, that's great. Now, I don't know if I want to fly in a plane, though, that's only 90% right.
Absolutely. Yep.
And he'd say, you got a point there. We have to make sure.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
So you have to be disciplined to create that exactness and to make sure that the products that you're putting out is safe.
Correct.
So I can see where that discipline comes into your life, both from your parents who are, in the military or in the military, and now the engineering profession that you chose certainly made you a disciplined person. How has that discipline paid off?
Oh, wonders. I mean, from college to being in my profession for about 11 years now, and to, being an entrepreneur, it's helped me and guided me. And, just being able to understand and reach out and understand what it really means to be disciplined and organized and really get things done. I feel like, being disciplined is probably one of my greatest qualities, I would say.
Cool. So you've gone ahead and created a couple of businesses that we'll get into throughout this interview. I want to talk before, though, about maybe some of your personal life, because along with discipline comes a certain degree of sacrifice too, right?
Absolutely.
So there's some important things, I would imagine, that you've had to maybe put on hold or not focus on right away while you build your empire. And I'm just trying to use you as an example, maybe to others, to show maybe some of the sacrifices that you're making that maybe they have to make. So what would you say are some of the biggest sacrifices that you're making right now?
I would say probably, so you have your professional life, then you have your more personal life, your social life. So I would say a little bit on the social side. Instead of going out and, frequenting with friends, I might be working. I might stay in the office late, just to kind of get the job done. So it's that balance, though. You want to find that balance. But I would say that social life, that personal life may have been, something on if I would kind of weigh them, my professional life has a little bit higher standard right now for me.
Yeah, I would probably want to agree. I mean, you got to put something on hold. Everything
absolutely
can't happen at once. What other characteristics do you find in yourself that has driven your success?
I'm a very positive person. So for me, I as a brand owner, I'm not one to bash or disrespect other brands. I'm welcoming. So I think me putting positivity in the world, it kind of comes back, twofold for me. And that's probably my second best quality, I would say. Just being positive, being a positive thinker, always looking for solutions and ways to get the job done.
Yeah. Well, being positive certainly is important. I always tell people that it never hurts you to be positive.
Absolutely.
Even if something doesn't work out, you weren't hurt because you were positive about it. But you're not likely to succeed at much if you approach it negatively, right? If you jump out there saying, "Oh, I can't do this," chances are you won't, because there are a lot of people who will help you not succeed.
Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely.
And if you can't believe in your idea, it's not going to be possible that other people will likely believe in it either.
Correct.
Well, we're going to take a short break in just a minute. And when we come back, we're going to get into some of those businesses that you're now engaged in and talk about how they're going, what you see the upside of them is, and how other people, for that matter, might be able to follow in your growing footsteps. We'll be right back after this break. I'm setting an example for my kids.
I got me a side hustle.
I have more control of my destiny.
I need multiple streams of income.
It's hard work, but I'm working for me.
A job is cool, but I need more.
It's all about being self-employed. You're tuned into the world of Self-Employed and Rising with Art Taylor, where we bring you the amazing stories of people who are challenging the odds and following their dreams of self-employment. Learn from their successes and be inspired. Hear creative ideas for your business and find tips to take your hustle to another level. Welcome back from our break. I'm Art Taylor, the host of this show, Self-Employed and Rising. And my guest today is Darren Eakins, who is the owner of one business and co-owner of another. And we're going to get to talk a bit about these businesses right now. So Darren, the first business had to be somewhat inspired by your mother. It's called DeBlasi Whiskey. And we know that your mother's name is Flossie.
Oh, yes.
So tell me that I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, a little bit. There you go. So DeBlasi Whiskey is a brand new whiskey that we just launched in 2021. It's a vanilla base, 70 proof, 35% alcohol. We're doing amazing. It's an amazing blend. It's distributed 32 states, direct to consumer. We're also in Sam's throughout the state of Florida. That's where we're headquartered. And surprisingly, this is brand new information here. We just secured distribution for California, so we're super excited. We continue to grow, and we're ready for the future.
Well, let's run our little clip on the whiskey right now. So I know everybody is going to want to know how an engineer, a construction engineer, gets connected to a whiskey brand. So how did this all come about?
So it's uniquely, I have an uncle who makes wine in Ohio. So he kind of introduced me to the spirits industry and just taught me about pairing ingredients and what he's doing. And, whiskey is my favorite spirit of choice, of course. And I would see, what would it be like? What would it be like to own a brand? At the time when I was starting, one brand just became the official sponsor of the NBA. And, it just, me being and having an inquiring mind, I just wanted to think and do a little bit of research and see what that looked like. And from there, the idea just kept on and snowballed, and I have a whiskey now.
So did you come up with the formula, or how did you go about pulling the pieces of this together? Did you know about whiskey yourself? Did you have to get more education on this? There's so many questions.
Oh, absolutely. So yes, it's a proprietary formula that I created. I worked with a master distiller down here in Jacksonville, and to really kind of put the pieces together, we had to do a lot of different sourcing of materials and ingredients and different flavors and different things to really get it, right. The aging process, there's so many things that went into it. But I was blessed to have a really good master distiller to really teach me a little bit more about spirits and the distillation process and just how everything needs to go and how to be successful. So kudos to my master distiller.
So you got this off the ground. I know you couldn't have done it without some early pitfalls and maybe some challenges even today. What were some of the challenges you had to overcome?
Well, that's great. We launched during the pandemic. So we took a kind of non-traditional route as far as getting to the consumers. We decided to do direct to consumer at the time. Nobody was, visiting retail stores, so it was perfect platform to get the product out to consumers. With that, I think the biggest obstacle was, material and ingredients, the shortage, right? So during the pandemic, of course, a lot of the warehouses and plants were being shut down. So bottles were there was a 3-month wait on bottles. It was just so many things that we had to plan for, and I really attribute it to being an engineer and being able to forecast the lag time, and being able to just kind of front load everything. That way we were able to fulfill all the orders. And so that was probably our biggest hurdle that we did great on.
Now, are you involved directly in building these distribution networks that you have with these different stores and outlets?
So yes, so basically with spirits, it's a 3-tier system. So you have your manufacturer, your distributor, and then your retailer. So I would go out and pitch to different distributors throughout different states to potentially pick up the brand, and so that they can distribute it to retailers. So that's one of our biggest things that we're working on, and reaching out to distributors. And it's vital. Without distribution, you have no business.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from your consumers who drink the whiskey?
So thus far, I've got great feedback. Our market is about 60-40. It's kind of surprising for a whiskey, and we've gotten great feedback, and we're actually entering 3 competitions this year: the SIP Awards, the San Francisco competition, and a competition in New York as well. So hopefully we'll get some gold medals along with the whiskey. But high hopes, and we're excited to continue to let the brand grow and let people try it.
So where do you see the business going, that particular business?
Oh goodness, I would love to be in all 50 states. I would love to be international. Granted, we're talking about scaling at a high rate, but ideally, I want everybody to be able to access the brand. Having distribution in different states, there's a little bit of lag time, right? So you want to have distribution in different states. So, once we get that, we'll be able to really push it out there.
Now, you had to obviously come up with ways to finance this business too, right? So did you come up with any unique financing ways? Did you bootstrap it? How did you make all that happen?
Well, it's kind of been all through me. Luckily I've been blessed to be in a financial situation where it's I was able to self-fund it. And with that, of course, as we continue to scale and get bigger and bigger and bigger, where it's coming, of course, I'll definitely look into different other avenues to bring in some finance, whether it's investors and such. So thus far, it's been all self-funded.
Fantastic. Well, I can certainly envision other spin-off projects from that too. It'll be quite interesting. You mentioned, for instance, that the NBA sponsors a particular brand. Have you also sought to sponsor different things to get more visibility? Are you currently sponsoring anything? Or are you using those opportunities to promote the brand?
Absolutely. So actually, this coming next month, we're sponsoring the Women at Work organization. They're a nonprofit organization here in Jacksonville, Florida, that empower women, and they're doing a wine and whiskey event. So it's a 2-day event. They have their wine and whiskey event, and then the next day is their actual conference. So we're sponsoring that. We're the title sponsor for that. We've also sponsored the Jacksonville Jaguars NPHC tailgate. Any really, really powerful relationships, partnerships that we can build, we'll definitely be interested in learning more about them, and we'll definitely look into sponsorship for them.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really impressed. I have to tell you, when we found out that you had a whiskey brand, we were all how did he do that? Where did that come from?
Absolutely.
It just kind of blew us all away. And we were all, of course, we're family. We're very proud of what you've done. And, we want to all make sure that we can do whatever we can to make it successful. And I'll just say, I've tried it, and, I enjoy a libation every so often.
There we go.
And I will say that yours has a very unique flavor for whiskey, particularly for people who like just a little bit of a hint of vanilla. If you like a little bit of vanilla, you're gonna feel that come right through this particular brand.
Absolutely.
Well, look, we're going to, in a minute, take another break,
okay,
and we're going to come back and talk about some of the other businesses that you're in, particularly the business around basketball.
Okay.
And just try to see if there's a connection between the basketball and the whiskey.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't want basketball players running around with whiskey cups, right?
Right. No, that wouldn't be good.
They can't have cups. We want them to have something else in their cups when they're sitting on the sideline.
Exactly.
So maybe
Absolutely.
That's not quite the connection. But when we come back, we're going to find out more about the connection between these two brands. First, we're going to talk about the basketball, the team itself, and then we'll find out about the connection. We'll be right back.
You know you are a hot one. We are lime, we are laugh, we are chat, we no chill, we are hot one. Temperature rise, beer vibes in ya, this a hot one. Link up, connect, bust a sweat when you're dead from the hot one. We gonna spice it up like fire.
setting an example for my kids.
I got me a side hustle.
I have more control of my destiny.
I need multiple streams of income.
It's hard work, but I'm working for me.
A job is cool, but I need more.
It's all about being self-employed. You're tuned into the world of Self-Employed and Rising with Art Taylor, where we bring you the amazing stories of people who are challenging the odds and following their dreams of self-employment. Learn from their successes and be inspired. Hear creative ideas for your business and find tips to take your hustle to another level. Welcome back to Self-Employed and Rising. I'm Art Taylor, your host. And as I mentioned earlier, we're with Darren Eakins, who is the owner of DeBlasi Whiskey. And he is also the co-owner of the ABA basketball team, the Nassau Pride. We've spent some time talking about the whiskey. Now we're going to talk about the basketball team. And let's play a little clip first of the basketball team.
I think it's pride time. I think them boys say they ready. I think it's pride time, dog. Yeah. Where they at, it's time to fight. Excuse me for my ego, it's a fight. That's a pride day. Nassa. We don't see you where the vice. Please excuse my.
Now, one thing you can see from that clip, that this is quite a family experience that you've created here.
Absolutely. So the Nassau Pride, we're based out of Nassau County, Florida, which consists of Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, Hilliard, Yulee, and Callahan. And that county, they don't have any professional sports. So they're big into high school sports and youth athletics as well. So when we brought the team, we wanted to bring something that's family friendly and where everybody can come and have a great time. It's a great atmosphere, and they absolutely love us and support us.
So let's back up for a minute. When I grew up, there was an ABA that ultimately merged with the NBA.
Correct.
And they played with these red and white and blue basketballs. They were the first to use the three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fun league. You had some really outstanding talent playing in the ABA.
Absolutely.
And a lot of guys wanted to play in the ABA because they got paid more.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that league merged. And when I heard you were owner of a team in the ABA, I was thinking, well, wait a minute, is the ABA coming back? But apparently this is something new. So tell me about the league, and then let's get into how you actually came by acquiring a team.
Absolutely. So it is the ABA of old. So in the late 70s, the ABA and the NBA merged. 4 teams from the ABA went over to the NBA, and they pretty much acquired all the players and whatnot. So like you said, the ABA has a unique set of rules. The ABA was the first one to implement the three-point line. They were the first to implement the dunk contest, where the infamous Dr. J dunk, that was in the ABA game or ABA dunk, event. And so in the I would say early 2000s, one of the original chairmen in the ABA of old wanted to bring the ABA back. So he got the rights from the NBA to bring back the ABA, and it's been rolling ever since.
How many teams are in the league?
It's a very large league. So it's probably the largest team league in the nation, probably around 150 teams.
Wow. So you play regionally? Is that how it works? And is there a championship tournament and all that, or how does it work?
Correct. So there's 5 different regions, and it consists of various states in the region. We're in the Southeast region. And basically you can play about half your season could be consist of teams in your region, and then the other half you can travel outside your region. So how would go? With playoffs, you do a state playoff. So you'll play all the teams in your state to advance to the regional playoffs. The regional playoffs would then meet in the Elite Eight, wherever whatever city or host is actually hosting the tournament at the time, to play for the national championship.
All right, so let's talk about you getting a hold of a team. How did that happen?
Well, that was a journey. So when I graduated college, I became a basketball coach. So I coached youth, and then I moved my way up to high school. Then I met one of my former business partners who we had a training company called Hoop Grind. Hoop Grind is still out there and is doing amazing works in North Florida. So what we were doing, we were training, high schoolers and college students, when they came home or throughout the season. And then after a while, we started picking up some professional athletes who are in between contracts. And, I looked at my partner, I said, hey, I think we have something here. So me just being inquisitive and thinking about growth and development, I looked into other leagues and say, hey, maybe we can start a team, because we started having an influx of college athletes who were looking, okay, what am I going to do after college? Am I going to go overseas? Can I get a G League tryout? They're just kind of in limbo. There's so many athletes that aren't going to make it to certain other leagues, certain higher leagues. So I was like, well, why don't we create a team? We have all this talent that we're training, and they're waiting for their, the potential contract overseas. Let's see if we can get them in a league. So literally just that mindset of growth and operations. And literally that's how we were able to, formulate a league or formulate a team.
So you went to, I guess there's an ABA league official that works with potential owners to meet the requirements to get a team, and you just went through that whole process. And
yep, went through the whole process. Yep, we had a secure market that wasn't already in use, and from there we had to get vetted and all the nuances throughout that. But yeah, it was a good process, and fortunately we were blessed to have a bunch of sponsors, and here we are, third season.
So how does it feel? Do you get to attend a lot of the home games, or you travel with the team?
Yeah, it's surreal. It's surreal. I attend all the home games. I try to make as many away games as possible. The guys are too funny. We have a big team bus, 21 passenger bus, and it's just it's an amazing time to be with the team and really provide some insight, because they're young adults fresh out of college. We have some older that are on the tail end of their career, but really just to give them another avenue and teach them, hey, what else can you do outside of basketball as you prepare to kind of get in the workforce? So just providing some insight, mentorship, but also a platform for them to play and really continue to expand and build their portfolio to get overseas eventually.
Fantastic. So you mentioned mentoring them,
Mm-hmm.
because not all of the guys obviously will even move on from where you're playing now to other leagues.
Correct.
So how are you going about helping them to get connected in different ways to other potential professions? Hard for me to say, easy for me to say.
No, that's good. Great question. So we have a career development program that we deal with our players. So we'll ask them, what was your major in college? What do you want to do? What do you look forward to do? And then we'll try to get them job placements. We'll also try to get them in some form of internship or apprenticeship that they can work with, professionals to kind of guide them to say, hey, even outside of basketball, let's get you something secure where you can start your life and provide for your family.
Well, that's awesome. I think about this business, and most sports are things that Americans really gravitate towards, especially
Mm-hmm.
basketball. We love basketball, and I just think about all the possible career options there are for people who are in any way connected to the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from officiating to statistics to facilities management to marketing to player, agency, all sorts of things
Mhm.
can come from just a sports team. And I guess you're sort of providing that in different ways to
Mhm.
your community.
Absolutely.
So Darren, is this particular business one that you see really going bigger? And how would you go about making it bigger? Or what's your vision for that?
Well, I would love to see it go bigger. Of course, we rent out different venues, whether it be high school or arenas, colleges. We rent out different venues. So just being able to have our own venue, it could be a multi-use venue where you can have concerts and whatnot. So it's always being funded. But I feel like that would be something that would be great for the community. Just a place where they can really call their own. And really get the true professional experience. I feel like that would be great. Also, just kind of expanding to where we can, do more. We have the ABA Mexico, we have the ABA Australia, we have the ABA Canada. So just traveling out of the country and getting guys some real exposure to other professionals out there and athletes. So yeah, it'd be a good time.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how you tie these two businesses together. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome. My name is Carolyn Howell, and I'm the executive producer of the Caribbean Food Network, the newest and the most fabulous way to eat, drink, and think food, fun, anything culinary, travel, tourism, you name it, we're in. Right now, I'm standing in Cookology, or at least one of the Cookologies. Cookology is a fabulous recreational and professional way to learn how to cook. And isn't that what we all want to do? Eating is how we keep going. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Maria. Maria is the founder and the owner of Cookology. We're so excited about our partnership and what the Caribbean Food Network is going to do. We can't wait for you to see. So sit tight.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cookology Culinary School. This is our location in Boston Quarter. We have been here since 2019. We have another one in Dollstown Center. We've been there since 2009. We've been in business for 13 whole years, aside from the pandemic, which I did a lot of sleeping. But here we are. If you want to look in, this is what you see when you come by Boston Quarter. It's fun. It's fun. It's potential fun. Everybody is looking to do something with their friends and family. So here is the front door. Follow the sign.
I'm setting an example for my kids.
I got me a side hustle.
I have more control of my destiny.
I need multiple streams of income.
It's hard work, but I'm working for me.
A job is cool, but I need more.
It's all about being self-employed. You're tuned into the world of Self-Employed and Rising with Art Taylor, where we bring you the amazing stories of people who are challenging the odds and following their dreams of self-employment. Learn from their successes and be inspired. Hear creative ideas for your business and find tips to take your hustle to another level. Welcome back to the show, Self-Employed and Rising. I am Art Taylor, your host. And my guest today is Darren Eakins, who is the founder of DeBlasi Whiskey and also the co-owner of the Nassau Pride ABA basketball team. We've been talking to Darren about his empire building because he's already got 2 businesses and he's still a very young man, which means that he has, with the good Lord's blessing, the opportunity to create many more businesses along with growing the ones that he already has. And part of growing a business involves collaborating with others. It involves choosing your partners wisely, setting your priorities, and a host of other characteristics, one of which Darren mentioned earlier in the show, which is all about having discipline and the ability to say no to some things and say yes to other things. But Darren, I would imagine part of being able to do this well is figuring out how to connect businesses together so that you maximize your efforts and in your investments. So tell me, in your own words, how you see managing these 2 businesses together, and are there connections between the 2?
Sure. So, DeBlasi Whiskey is a sponsor of the Nassau Pride. Through our sponsorships, we're just from the team, we provide a bunch of different, outlets and services for all of our sponsors. With the whiskey, it's actually just 2 completely separate, entities that, do not really, work together outside of the sponsorship, level.
Okay. So, do you have a grand sort of thought process for what business opportunities you want to dig into, or do you just sort of wait and see what comes around?
Well, it's a little bit of both. So I keep my ear to the world and always open to other opportunities. But a lot of the things that I've done thus far is stuff that I'm passionate about, that I actively are into. I enjoy basketball. I enjoy, recreation and being around amongst friends. But I'm also looking to get into the nonprofit side. So I'm actually, I've just started a nonprofit, the DeBlasi Foundation, and it's going to be, it's for STEM advocacy. I'm an engineer by profession, and to work with youth to advocate STEM.
Fantastic. I'd like to get you connected with one of our former guests on the show, Roger Laseth, who has managed a security business in Philadelphia for many years. And I said to Roger, you know, it might be interesting for you to see if you can transition some of your business energy into computer security, you know, as well as personal security.
Yes.
And you might be just the guy, I'm thinking, to partner with Roger on something like that. It would be fantastic if
Absolutely.
we could
Absolutely. That
get you
sounds
two
good.
guys together to think about that, because that's a multi-trillion-dollar business. Computer
Yes.
security, right? Securing our
Yes.
systems. And we don't do yet a really credible job of it. So we'll see. I'm glad you're open to opportunities.
Absolutely.
So what does an opportunity have to look like for you to say, this is something I think I might want to check out?
Well, absolutely. So it's have to be, you know, it has to be well thought out, well organized, and well vetted for me. So are we talking, is it labor intensive? What is your skill set as the individual making the pitch? What is your skill set? What are you looking to provide? What are you, you know, what will be your, you know, role? What will be my role? Just kind of laying out expectations, the view, where you see the company. What does this company mean to you? Is it something that is just another business to add to your wallet, or is it something that you feel like is beneficial and you're solving a problem or making someone's life a little bit better? So for me, it's just really understanding who that person is, and how can I contribute, and what that looks like from a time perspective.
Yeah, time is everything, because you can always have more money, but you can never have more time, right? So
Bingo.
that's
Bingo.
the key. Well, when you think about your businesses and where you may end up, do you expect that we're going to see you on the billionaires list someday?
I would love to be, and I'm going to manifest it. I would love to be, you know, but for me, I just keep working, you know, keep doing the work, and the blessings will come on the back end. So I would love to be, and like I said, I'm just going to manifest it, speak it into existence, and keep working.
Well, I love that you started the foundation, because I think that for people who have received those kinds of blessings, there's always great opportunity and responsibility, if you ask me, to give back.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really happy that you have that orientation, because people with great wealth can do great things for society as well. And what we're seeing in social good creation these days, another thing that I focus a lot on is the creation of social good. What we're seeing is that businesses can play a much greater role in the creation of social good, not only through their products and services and contributions, but in their collaborations with social good actors and people on the ground who want to do great things. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that that's part of your purview.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me just ask you this, because we're getting to the end of the show today. But Darren, I wanted to just give you an opportunity to encourage someone out there who may be thinking, I can't do this. I'll never be successful at running a business. Maybe somebody who's already in business and they're struggling a little bit. They're having a day when they're thinking maybe it's time to just close down and move on to something else. What words of encouragement do you have for a person like that?
Well, I would say a few things. My first thing, I always, you know, kind of preach to students or young professionals or anyone looking to get into the entrepreneurial life. I would say small attainable goals. Set small attainable goals. You don't have to go big. Just kind of knock that first one out, knock that second one out. But by the end of the week, you've hit seven goals accomplished in 1 week. So imagine what that looks like in a quarter. Imagine what that looks like in a year. So setting small attainable goals, it takes a lot of pressure off you. It takes a lot of stress and anxiety, and just not, you know, with a lot of business, there's no right way. It's just, you have to dive into it, you know. So setting those small attainable goals, it'll be so vital in helping them accomplish, you know, what they're trying to do. And then the second one I would say is take the power out of fear, right? Fear, in my eyes, doesn't exist. It's either something that you don't want to happen or something that could happen. But right now it doesn't exist, presently. So why am I fearing something that doesn't exist? So taking the power out of fear. And those two things are literally what I live by. And it's been helpful.
Well, listen, I love both of those, especially the one about fear.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when my daughter was really young and we had to take her to get her inoculations. And she knew from a previous trip where we were taking her. And she just started crying like you wouldn't believe. And finally, I looked at her and I said, when they're sticking the needle in your arm and it hurts, you can cry all you want, but you're not really feeling any pain right now.
No,
there's no need for you to cry.
Right. The anticipation.
There's no need for you to cry.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, Darren, I really appreciate you spending this time with me today on the show. You've given us some great insight, some great information. Your businesses are exciting and fun to follow, and we're going to keep an eye on you and continue to support you in any way that we can.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
Well, to all of, I'm setting an example for my kids.
I got me a side hustle.
I have more control of my destiny.
I need multiple streams of income.
It's hard work, but I'm working for me.
A job is cool, but I need more.
It's all about being self-employed. You're tuned into the world of Self-Employed and Rising with Art Taylor, where we bring you the amazing stories of people who are challenging the odds and following their dreams of self-employment. Learn from their successes and be inspired. Hear creative ideas for your business and find tips to take your hustle to another level.